G'day and welcome to the Hunting Connection podcast. My name is Zach Williams and I am your host. Here we'll connect you with hunters, fishers and outdoor enthusiasts from around the globe. This podcast will share hunting and fishing stories including past experiences and tackle the tough hunting stereotypes our community faces. We hope to be a positive influence to those outside the community while also having a laugh along the way. Hope you enjoy the podcast. G'day and welcome to another episode of Hunting Connection podcast. On today's episode, I'm joined by Jack Peacock. How you going, mate?
Yeah, good by yourself?
Yeah, good. I see, you sent through that you went for a hunt today. That's a good way to spend a Sunday.
Yeah, man, it's half all the other stories. It never starts as a hunt, but yeah, we're running out some chooks to a mate of ours out west of Brisbane and had to sight on our 308 because I'd given it a bit of a knock a couple of weekends before and took one of the bros for a drive around the property and ran into a decent rusa stag down the creek line and
beautiful.
It's silly not to turn it down, man. So it all came together pretty sweet, eh?
Yeah, it looked like it. Beautiful deer. I've only seen a couple rusa in person, but yet to take one yet. But they're incredible. They're a cool animal, man. Like I've only just started hunting those like really the last 6 years. Like my experience is more with red deer, but man, I just love hunting them now. I reckon they're just such a funky animal. Yeah, they're definitely different to reds and fallow, which is what I'm used to. But yeah, I've seen a spike, I've seen a velvet stag and a few hinds, but nothing too interesting and nothing that I could shoot.
But we're pretty fortunate up here. They're on a few different locations. So yeah, one of those places I've got access has got a good population of rusa. So I'm pretty lucky with that.
How good. And so you said you're up near Brisbane, so you got some access to reds as well as the rusa then?
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I'm based in North Brisbane, Queensland, and predominantly we hunt red deer up here. Like I said, we do have pockets of rusa, got areas of chital and fallow as well. They're the main deer species up in southeast Queensland, and I've been fortunate to hunt them all so far. So
how good?
Yeah, it's I want to dive into the chital a bit more eventually. I've only had a couple of cracks at them, but it was enough to get the itch going with them as well. They're just another cool animal to hunt, but just don't know much about them quite yet. But it's all experiences, eh?
Yeah, that's it. That's the one species I haven't seen in person yet is the chital deer. I've seen plenty mounted. Yeah. I've eaten it, but have not. Haven't seen any in person. And yeah, chital and rusa are my last two Australian species. So I'm hanging to get the opportunity one day to give them a crack.
I'd never seen a chital until I think it was around February this year, and we went for a hunt down on the southern border of Queensland and New South Wales, and yeah, man, we ended up shooting I shot a stag straight off the bat, and then the next day shot another hind as well, and then my mates shot a spiky and a hind as well. Like we ended up walking away with four chital, and none of us had ever seen these guys before, and yeah, it was kissed on the ass a bit with that one, man, to be honest. But so we ended up I caked them all out for floor rugs.
Beautiful.
Because they're kind of like fallow. Well, they're nicer than fallow as a skin goes, I reckon, eh?
They're real pretty. What do you rate the chital and the rusa compared to reds and fallow?
Oh, man, I would rate rusa and fallow would be a top, like a hard first place for me. Like, I don't know if I could pick between those two. And I'd have to say red deer, then chital. But like with chital, I've got mates that have just said, man, it's not nice. You got to slow cook it, and then others that swear by it. So I think it's down to your own palate, I guess. But like I would say rusa, fallow, red, and chital. But red deer is like our staple diet in our family. Like we eat 80% red deer meat out of all the venisons.
That's awesome. Yeah, red's beautiful, but it's funny you say that because like. I hear a lot of people put chital at the top of the bunch there because it tends to be a very it's like a soft flavour. It's not as strong as reds and fallow.
Yeah, it's it was the first time I tried chital like this year, and like so I went through and like we butchered the whole thing. I went through the bandsaw. We made chops, neck chops. We did our steaks. We did mince, everything. Like I liked it. I didn't have it. I didn't mind it. It definitely you could notice the flavor difference, but I don't know if it's just my personal taste preference. But I rate rusa because they hold such a good fat content as well for a deer. And then fallow deer, man, it's just a meat I can't turn down. But like I said, they're like treats to us, like because red deer is our main staple diet. So for the next 2 months, we're gonna be like eating dinner with a smile on my face. But then I'll be back to the red deer. So
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What's your go-to recipe? I normally ask that at the end, but since we're talking about food, what's your go-to thing to cook with venison?
Man, I am like probably the worst guy to ask for like cooking advice with venison because if I'm forced to cook, bro, it's you're getting a camp meal. Like it's just straight up venison, bro. There's no fancy shit. Garlic butter, salt, man, and just searing on a hot plate, and that's me sorted. But fortunately, I've got a wife that can cook, and I've got young kids, and the family favorite has got to be schnitzel, man. It's just a go-to because the kids love it.
Yeah.
And like, yeah, so I think we do schnitzel as a main meal. We do a lot of like Mexican food as well with the mince, and then slow cooking as well.
So
just in the crock pot stuff.
With the mince, are you adding pork to it, or are you just keeping it lean?
No, I mean, it depends on like the animal I'm shooting. Like if I can shoot like a heavy hind that's got good fat content, and I don't need to do that mixture. But I always have, if we shoot a wild pig that's got good fat content in it, I'll trim a lot of fat and store it for those times when you got a leaner animal, especially with the venison for sausages and for mince and whatnot, just because it cooks so fast.
Yeah.
But when we're doing the mince, I try to like plan it so then it's with a well-fed deer as opposed to like a lean one. That's when we end up getting more into our schnitzels and stuff like that.
Yeah, crazy. Yeah, so I've never added or found the need to add fat to the mince. Just when I'm having it as mince. With sausages, yeah, you have to add the pork fat.
Yeah, I was going to say, you are right. Like, to be fair, like, the only time we're adding fat is for sausages.
Yeah.
Like, the mince, so to speak, like, because you're not cooking just straight hard mince unless you're, like, dieting hard or something like that. You're adding flavors and stuff like that as well. So, yeah, the sausages, though, I think is a must. Like, for adding a decent fat content. But the rusa there, that's what I love them so much, is, like, they've always, unless they're like hard just coming out of rut, they've always got good weight on them. Like even that stag I shot today, and he's got that rut body on him at the moment, and he's still got a good layer of fat on him. So I'm hanging him for a couple of weeks, and then we're going to process him.
Yeah, beautiful. Do you hang with skin on or skin off?
I love hanging them with skin on, bro. Like because I just feel like you waste a lot of meat trying to. You probably know yourself, like it just gets that hard seal on the outside, and then you're trying to trim all that shit off. And to me, it doesn't affect anything. We've always, even growing up as a kid, we've always hung them with skin on. Yeah. So it's just something I've always done.
Yeah, I've tried a few different ways: hanging with skin on, hanging with skin off, or just chucking it straight in the freezer. And I never really have too much issues chucking venison straight in the freezer. I haven't shot too many bucks that I've gone, oh, this could have hung, and but even with younger deer, like I've shot fawns where you've hang them in the in the cool room for 2 weeks and skin on, and then you can cut them with a fork.
All right, like it's yeah. I was just saying because it comes from that you let them hang and they get tender, but like I think if you gave it to like 80% of hunters and you're like, tell me which one's fresh and which one's been hanging for 2 weeks, bro, you're not gonna know. For me, it's two things. It's just I find meat that's been hung at least a day is easier to process.
Yeah.
And the second one is, bro, half the time you can't be fucked. Like you get home and if you've got a cold room, bro, you can hang that up, you can reset and then go back and do it properly and you're not cutting corners.
Yeah, no, definitely overnight. I find like when you're in hunting camp and you have cooler nights and you got a frost, you can hang it outside and you let it set. It definitely does process much better than warm meat.
I was going to say, you guys are lucky down in the southern states, the same as New Zealand, because you can hang out overnight. Like you don't get that luxury up in Queensland. Like You can like for like a brief 3 week period of our winter, and then that's it. But yeah, other than that, that's you got to sort it out pretty quick.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. I forget you guys don't get cold up there. What's cold? 25 degrees.
Yeah, I would say middle of the day, man. You're getting that anyway, still. But like we're like, mate, like I said, you get like a month maybe, and like you're down to this. Like you check the thermostat, it's like 3 or 4 degrees. You get minus out west and whatnot.
Yeah.
I was gonna say there'll be guys pulling it out hearing me say that, but it's not that cold a state. Like compared to like where I grew up back home and where you guys are and whatnot, this place is pretty good.
Oh, killer. Whereabouts did you grow up in NZ?
I grew up in Central Otago, so I was born in the North Island near Wellington, but then we moved down and I grew up in a place called Wanaka down in the Southern Alps. Grew up on a elk farm down there, or a red deer and elk farm down there doing the velvet.
Yeah, beautiful. I went through Wanaka a couple years ago when I was down in New Zealand hunting tahr. Yeah, beautiful area, man. We were hunting off of Lake Tekapo there, and it's freaking gorgeous.
Oh man, it's as like for tourism and just going down and seeing the place, even if you're not a hunter, bro. Like it's one place you'll want to return to once you see it. Like it's just that's why they call it God's country, I guess. But when you did your tahr hunt, did you get helicoptered in or?
Nah, we drove around the back and walked up and checked all the lower valleys up through there. So we didn't go too hard, but found a couple. So.
Yeah. So you did end up getting onto something? Or?
Yeah. I shot and lost a small bull the first day. Shot him, wanted him to go left. He went right. Just a little young yearling thing, but so that was a bugger. And then next day I shot a nanny, and then a few days later I shot about a 7-year-old tahr.
Yeah, well that's what you want. Was it a bull? Or
yeah, bull. Yep.
Yeah. Oh man, you've ticked it off before me, and I grew up down there. I've never even shot a tahr before. Wow. Like the farm we grew up on, like it was owned by a bloke called Tim Wallace, or Sir Tim Wallace. He's passed away now, but he was involved with a lot of like the helicopter, the deer capturing and culling back in the day. And we used to see them coming back in the helicopters with like tahr and chamois and whatnot, hanging underneath the helicopter as well. And saw plenty of it, but just never got into the action myself. I was too young when I was still down there, so.
That's crazy. You said you grew up on a deer farm. Is that what started your passion with hunting? Were you hunting from a young age, or?
Yeah, well, like from day dot, man. Like my old man, like when we were in the North Island, he was a commercial fisherman and farmer up there as well, and he was heavily involved in the deer scene up north, doing trapping and just hunting himself. And like that stemmed generations before him as well back in New Zealand. And so I was always I grew up on the coast, fishing, diving, hunting, like just exposed to it as a kid. And I suppose once we moved down south and I got a little bit older, like my first thing was duck shooting. First shotgun first gun I bought was a 410 shotgun, just the old single action. And just went from fishing to duck shooting, rabbit shooting, and then slowly moved up into the bigger game species. And yeah, I think it's a lot of similar stories for a lot of kids growing up back home. Is you're just born and raised in it. I couldn't even tell you how young I was when I shot my first animal, mate. Definitely awesome. Before 5 or 6. But yeah, it's just.
I was similar. I got in it quite young here. Rabbits, hares, foxes, goats, with my pop. But the waterfowl scene down in NZ's just insane. I got a few good mates over there, and the shit that they send through of what they take and how many they take, and then you've got the Canadian geese as well, and it's just insane.
Oh man, yeah, the Canadian geese, yeah, man, they're good fun as well, bro. Like, yeah, it's a massive thing down there, and like it's one thing that makes me like sad over here is like for you guys it's a bit different, but up in Queensland, like you're not allowed to duck shoot. They took that away a while ago, which I don't know why. Like it's makes no sense, but because like I mean you look at the amount of like even up here the amount of population of woodland ducks and whatnot that's just left unchecked.
Yeah, unfortunately our anti-hunter crowd is loud, and we don't have the numbers of hunters that are proud of being hunters like you guys do in NZ. My first trip over there was chasing sika on the North Island, and we drove from Auckland down to Taupo, and it was just like just going into a hunting and fishing down there. It was just there was nothing like that here in Australia until venture hunting up in Queensland opened. That's almost the closest thing we have to a hunting and fishing New Zealand. But yeah, I've walked in, I've just gone, this is amazing, and every second person's wearing a piece of camo.
Yeah, bro, like everyone's walking around their swannies or whatnot as well. Like it's definitely like rooted into the like culture of it over there. But like it's sad to see that it doesn't happen here as much. Like because there is such a, I think it might be also because it's such just a vastly bigger population over here too. But like you got hunting community days back home, which is something that was just normal to us. Like you'd have people turn out, there'd be like 100 bloody boars on the showgrounds and all these stags and deer and like competitions for whatnot. And like you do that here, man, you'd be on the bloody news, I reckon, eh? So, but like it's the same thing with like just the irony of it, like, because I'm pretty sure like a lot of financial backing on like, even with the ducks is like RSPCA and all that stuff, but they approve the selling of trucks. Like it just, yeah, like to me, it just makes no sense at all. Like it's all right for that one, but for that one, it's all good.
Yeah, it's because most city people in Australia and probably around the world, when they hear duck, and they think of people shooting ducks, they're thinking of the local ducks down at the park, mallard cross, black duck and all of that type of stuff. All of these all these crappy ducks that are just at the local lake. There's always a couple of Muscovies kicking around, and so that's what people are thinking. They're like, oh, it's just the ducks that we're feeding in the park. Why would you want to shoot these ducks? Because you can get so close to them. You just throw bread out and they come up to you. That like, just sit on community pages. Because I'm a member of our local community page here, and you see, oh no, this person scared this duck, and this person chased this duck, and this person didn't slow down for ducks crossing the road, and it's just like
they give you the recipes of what to feed them, and oh yeah, it's mental. Yeah, that you see the old Karens jump on the community page, and like I think that honestly, majority of the time, I think it's just lack of education and lack of exposure to it. Like it's the world's not a fucking Disney movie, man. Like, and the thing is that these ones that are shouting the odds still eat meat. I could find more common ground with a vegan. Like, yeah, your argument's more valid because you're following that track. But like when you're sitting there and you're eating meat from Coles, and then you think we're the criminals, man. Like, it just, the irony of it doesn't make sense.
Oh, it's hilarious, and that's something that's mentioned on this podcast quite a bit. Like, most hunters and most vegans could meet in the middle fairly easy on the way we look at animals, but it's just that we respect them that much that we kill and eat them ourselves, and they respect them that much that they think they're people.
That's what I've said, like, to people. So I disagree. Like I've had good conversations with vegans before, and they're like, they have a respect for how we're handling that, and they can see that. Not all of them, but like you still got the occasional crazy one, but like, when you got someone else getting upset by their eating meat, and they're all good with like your feedlots to your abattoirs and whatnot, and which, like, at the same time, I say it's necessary. If we want to feed a population, we need these setups, because not all of us can go out and shoot a stag or shoot a hind and process it ourselves. So you need to have the supply and demand there to go, and that's what we have. But like, we can't just grow paddocks of lettuce.
Yeah, that's it. And for you growing up on a deer farm, you're seeing that not only they're utilized for meat, but for velvet and all of this other stuff. So
yeah, and that's it. Like it's an economy, man. Like, and it's a massive thing that keeps that bloody world ticking over, eh? And like the guys like you and I as well, is like it's not a bloodlust thing, man. Like we probably got a lot more respect and knowledge for these animals than the common person has.
Yeah.
And like we're not going out there trying to do what the helicopters are doing and just bloody gut shoot everything they can just to knock out the numbers and whack up the tick. It's something that we're passionate about and we're educated on. And like it's just it just falls in the background. They don't understand it. But everyone that I've met that has been kind of anti it or had things to say, they have been exposed to it or shown them in some sort of way, it changes their views pretty quick.
And yeah, that's something that I've said to a lot of people that don't hunt. Like, you chat to the average hunter and you chat to the average vegan, and you tell me who knows more about a species of animal and their movement, what they're eating, what the
yeah 100%, man.
what they're doing at certain times a year, and it's just like the hunters know, because that's who's studying the animal. We're looking at the animal as more of an individual, because we're able to see like what they're doing, how they're moving, where we're not looking at them as an individual, we're looking at them as a group of animals, and we're able to study them that way and study their movements, where
you're trying to iron out their boot, and then every so once in a while they'll just do something that just throws you way back off track again, and you start questioning some of the things as well. But
the season changes, and it's like you got like a 4-week pattern, and you're like, oh sweet, I finally got it, and then you get a change in temperature and it changes it completely.
Yeah, man, it does. Yeah, like it's. I don't think anyone will ever truly know. There's some pretty solid theories out on how things work, and most of them are true. But yeah, sometimes they're just like I said, they do things to keep you guessing, eh?
Yeah.
But that's why I love it, though, man. Like, because if it was predictable, it wouldn't be. It'd take the joy and excitement out of it, because it wouldn't. I suppose like it wouldn't be a healthy competition between you and the animal.
Yeah, that's it.
So like. Yeah.
Growing up on a deer farm, what were you able to take away from that and transfer to hunting? Like, were there certain patterns and stuff that you could pick up from the farm-raised deer, or?
I would say no, like in a short answer. Like, you got they're a livestock animal at that point, you know what I mean? And like, so they again, I've fed regularly on a schedule. They've got a pattern inside that pen. The rutting and the cycles and all that all work the same. How their bodies work and all that's all the same. But you're obviously going from a free range to an enclosed animal. So I think as far as a hunting point goes, not really, other than you're getting to inspect these animals up at a closer rate and be around them all the time. But for hunting, like off the top of my head, I would say no. As far as that goes, like, because I've learned more about those deer in the bush as far as the hunting aspect goes than I have on the farm. And even today, I'm still farming the deer. Like, I've got here in North Brisbane, I've got a dozen deer in my back paddock right now, and then up at my farm north of Bundaberg, I've got another 40 up there of 3 different species. And I didn't have much fellow deer hunting experience until after I'd started farming them myself as an adult. So I'd been breeding fellow deer for about 4 years before I actually went down to New South Wales and hunted one. And just I feel like I was hunting a different species.
Yeah, crazy.
Like it was all this stuff. Like I linked up with is it on Instagram? He's known as a brown fox.
Yep.
You'd probably know him. Yeah, Baz. Cut as a wild snake. And his mate Mick, and he's another bloke you know as well. Mick, he's a
Mick down in Victoria.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, both fucking legends, man. But like, they gave me an eye opener for hunting fellow down there, and there was stuff they'll teach me about them that I just didn't even know. Like, they're just showing me how the scraping works and how they work the circuits, and just seeing them rutting in the wild as well was completely different to how they rut in the pen.
Yeah, crazy.
So it was, definitely, I think farm deer compared to wild deer for hunting aspect is you got to get your feet on the ground out in the bush and put time in that way, I think.
What about like, you get all these people saying like, moon cycles around the ruts and, drops in temperature. Do you notice anything like that? I know from hunting them that these things aren't, it's when they're rutting, when they're...
Yeah, like, look, my experience through guiding the red deer, and I can only speak for my area that I'm hunting, man. So, like, I could be talking about something and I could have a guy 100 k's away disagree with what I'm going to say. So it's only my experience and my views I've found. But end of March, that Easter period, like just the very end, every year we get that quick cold snap and they're in. They're just going for it. And if you get like a bit of heavy rain or something like that, they shut up shop and then they get back into it. But I do think, even going back to the moon cycles and all that stuff, like I've we've talked about this before, and there is definitely theory behind it that I wouldn't argue. I think that does play effect, because you see how active animals are at night time off a moon cycle. It doesn't even mean deer. Like, your hunting success changes with the moon cycles, and like that's just it's proven itself to me time and time again. But as far as like the deer goes, I do believe it's got to do with the temperature drops, and it could be potentially the moon cycle and the gravity and whatever else you want to get into it. But it's been consistent every year, northern and southern hemisphere, the same season, and it's the same season when that temperature drops. So I do think it does 100% play a game in their hormones and whatnot. But then you could also it could be the females that pushes them in the season. That's what gets the stags going. Everyone's got theories to it, mate. Like, and that's the thing. It's like I'm still trying to figure out my theory as well, because I question myself. And yeah, that's going off farming them as well. Like I said, as far as watching their cycles go, like sometimes you think they're going to start on a certain day, and then they prove you wrong.
Yeah, that's crazy. So what goes into farming deer? You know, you've obviously got a passion for it, because you're still doing it today.
Mate, I'm just trying to relive my bloody youth, to be honest, with my kids. Like, I've got 3 kids, a son and 2 girls, and they're 13, 12, and 11 now. And like, I remember growing up as a kid and bottle raising a big old bloody bull elk as a fawn into an adult, which is anyone that knows anything about deer farming is a big no-no, but because they become pretty bloody dangerous once they're adults. But I just wanted the kids to kind of experience some of the things I experienced back home, and just that passion for deer, man. There's nothing better than waking up and having a coffee and you're looking out and there's deer grazing in your back paddock, and it's just purely out of love, man. There's no like a financial gain or anything like that for me. It's just because I enjoy doing it. But as far as like what goes into farming them, man, it's just keeping them healthy, mate. Like getting the right tucker into them, making sure that you're running through the paddocks and ingesting, like just giving paddocks some stool time to let it recover, and running wormer through their feed's the biggest thing, especially for red deer in Queensland. I've learned my lesson with farming red deer in Queensland, man. I think it'll probably be different to down south, but for such a large animal, I think they're probably one of the weakest deer as far as like livestock farming goes.
Yeah, wow.
They just... Yeah, fucking hell. They just something changes, mate, and they'll drop like a fly, whereas you get a rusa or a fallow deer, man, and they're just tough as nails. They can go through some pretty hard times.
Yeah, I heard that fallow and reds don't do well together. Is that true in a pen? The fallow can be quite aggressive towards the reds.
Yeah, fallow definitely have small man syndrome. They're cranky little bastards. I've been bashed a couple of times by a couple of bucks in the past when I've had my back to them. We had one that was the mother rejected it, so we ended up hand raising it. And like I said, we know it's a no-no. I think most people do, but I'd prefer to raise it. And then I did have a theory that I thought would work, and it kind of did. But like, I'd get him to weaning age, and then I'd betray the trust a little bit with him with a poly pipe if he came too close to me. So just so he knew it was danger, and it worked for a little while, and then the rut came around. But fortunately, like, I've got a dart, so I can tranquilise these buggers too. So I'll knock out the main stags that I don't want breeding and leave one breeder buck, so he's kind of keeping in charge of things. And fortunately, the one that had a go at me only had buttons on his head, so he didn't do any damage to me. But even for a little stag, they can still knock you on your ass quick, But
I can imagine.
Yeah, that crank. Well, I think there was a bloke down New South Wales, someone that died last year from one,
Yeah, I think there's been a couple in Victoria, and you hear stories about it every year here and in NZ. You know, pissed off deer to get some bottle raised deer.
Yeah, well, like I said, I had that elk that I hand raised, man. Like none wiser at that age, bro. Like I don't even know why we ended up hand raising it. And like my old man would have known too, like not to have a stag. But we've hand raised it, and then I think it was around the 11 or 12 month. No, actually, it went longer than that. It grew its second set. It went from spiker to stag because they were velveting him still. And then his name was Number 7, and then Number 7 disappeared. So I think the old man knew what was coming, and Number 7 ended up in the deep freezer. So I think it was just to prevent any danger, but. Because there was a lot of injuries that used to happen on that farm, mate, with handling deer, like in the dark rooms and whatnot when you're velveting them. Like, an elk's a big animal to to be playing around with. So
yeah, what percentage of elk, or they call them wop down there? What percentage are they, like, versus wapiti versus red deer?
Oh, we had pure wapiti elk.
Yeah, wow, cool.
Yeah, they were pure. Yeah, and that's still down there. The place was Criffle Deer Farm. Yeah, that's still running today. Like, obviously the velvet industry crashed out pretty hard in like the late 80s, 90s. When old bloody Roger Douglas decided to step in. He was the Minister of Finance, and yeah, he made things pretty hard for everyone. But yeah, they're all pure elk, and then we had red deer as well. We had some fallow down there as well. But God, like number wise that we had on there would have been a few thousand.
Yeah, killer. That's crazy.
Yeah. So it was a big setup, but like Tim Wallace, like he's a household name down south for the deer industry. Like he did a lot for the deer community and stuff back in the late 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s.
That's amazing.
So it's definitely a pioneer.
And so, are you letting your deer grow out their antlers, or are you harvesting velvet?
No, so like for the ones at home, like if I've tranquilize, I try to just keep the ones I don't want breeding, just so I can make sure that they're not going to kill each other, and the other ones aren't going to cause havoc as well. So currently we've got, I think, 2 or 3 stags in that pen. I think it's 3, because two we've darted last year. Or when we darted them in December last year when they were nearly growing in velvet, and just cut them so then they could cause any strife. But yeah, but then like obviously up north on the bigger paddock, I've probably got about 9 red stags, 7 fallows, a couple of rusa, and they're all just in the pen, just working it out.
That's killer.
Yeah, so like it's been fine so far. Like I've said, the only ones I had drama with are red deer. They're just a bloody soft species, eh? So.
It's because they're English.
Oh, mate, honestly, yeah. Well, we went over to the UK last year, eh? And like, I was expecting to see like, obviously your Royal double sixes and stuff like that, and then thinking, yeah, they must be all good bloodline over there. Fucking hell, some of them were shocking, eh? Like in England, we saw.
But, is that in that deer park or whatever it is, where all the...
Oh, no, we're more just travelling out in the countryside. Okay. Like every time... I don't have a gun with me, but I was still like in scout mode while we were driving in the countryside and whatnot. But yeah, it's... I can't remember what there's a little deer over there.
The muntjac or roe deer?
Yeah, I think so. And they're just like a tiny little thing, and they've got these 2 little retarded bloody antlers that just stick straight up. And God, we saw a few of those. Oh, bloody out of it looking deer.
Yeah, it's crazy. They were all introduced into Australia, and then you've only really got the 6 wild species that survived here, and then a few Penseeker as well.
Did the muntjac make it over here? Did it?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I think they introduced like 30 something species from memory. Could have been more. From all around the world. They tried everything in between here and New Zealand. They introduced everything, and not much survived.
Yeah, well, that's what we've talked about a few times, like how whitetail like held on down south. And I was like, man, it'd be so cool if it held on in Australia. Like, I don't even know if it got introduced or not.
I'm pretty sure it did. But yeah, they just didn't hold on. They must have released him in the wrong spot or got shot out too early. But it is amazing, like with the Stewart Island whitetail and that mainland herd of whitetail, how they've hung on. That's pretty cool.
Oh, bro, it's pretty epic, man. Like you see, I don't know if you know, like Sam the Trap Man.
Yep.
Yeah, like him, he's down south now at the moment. Like I saw some photos he put up a few weeks ago of some whitetail there with some whitetail does across his path, and like they're just such a cool looking animal, man. Like, but like I can get like some places in Australia how they don't hang on. Like this is a pretty tough country, man.
Oh, so is New Zealand.
Yeah, it is. But like I mean, like when you compare like New Zealand to Europe, I would say that it's probably like climate wise, it's probably more what they're adapted to.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I wish the moose held on in the Fiordlands. Like, that would have been something crazy to have still walking around.
What's your thoughts? Do you think they're gone, or because you've had two or three sightings of Canadians and North Americans have spotted some in the last couple of years.
Mate, we've got a lot of technology at the moment, bro. And like, it's here, so like, and who's to say they're not just spotting an elk?
Yeah,
and just assume on the distance. But like, I mean, hey, I'd eat my words, bro, if it turned up and there was a clear photo of one. But man, there's a lot of feet on the ground down there. But that being said, there's a lot of islands and they can swim, and there's a lot of places that people don't go to common. So, but surely there'd be sign of like a cast antler or something that would have turned up by now. Like, I think the last one was shot in the 60s.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they've found casties and they've found hair with hair traps and stuff like that. They're just not 100% sure.
I was gonna say I haven't dived down the rabbit hole enough on it. It's the same as I suppose the Tassie tiger and all that stuff. But like, I mean, hey, if there's proof there and they prove me wrong, man, fucking, I'm not gonna be mad about it.
I'm pretty sure there's $100,000 or $150,000 reward on whoever can bring actual evidence that they're still down there.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I was like, proofs in the pudding, man. Like, far out, like. And there's a lot of capable guys down there that the Southland boys are pretty good. So, I mean, if you're putting dollar signs, I'm sure they'll be giving it a crack.
I'm not sure if you know Jurgen from Strider Media. That's who I went hunting with down the South Island last year. I think he might be doing a trip to Fiordland early next year to go see if he can spend a couple of weeks out there looking for him.
Oh, man, it would be pretty cool if they did, like, if they had the result that everyone would want. Like, no one's not wanting it to not happen. Like, I mean, but like, I don't know. I'm just skeptical. It's been, 60 years since? 60 years. So
yeah, just blew me away with the couple from Canada that seen one earlier this year, and they're just like, they didn't know anything about moose being introduced into New Zealand, and they were out hiking and they seen it walk across the river, and they're like, holy shit, that's a moose. And for some reason they didn't have a phone on them to take a photo, or they were too in shock. But yeah,
and that's something I don't want to doubt them. Like, man, like, but it's like, everyone's got their bloody phones on them or something. Especially those, like, tourist hikers. You got a camera on you, man. but I'm like, I mean, yeah, you don't know. They could be right. I'm not calling them bullshitters. So I hope they're right.
It would be cool, like the story of Teddy Roosevelt sending him over there and 2 or 3 jumping off the ship on the way over and drowning, and then they had to bring some more down, and like...
Oh, it's mental how they got these animals around the world back in the day. Like, they just had the will. Like, they were... Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Well, that's what most people probably don't know, that New Zealand was set up as like a hunting destination. They were just dumping all of these species from all around the world and you had America gifting, the moose and the elk and the whitetail, and then you had the Himalayan tahr and the chamois. And
oh, dude, we're pretty lucky with that. Like, it's definitely been... New Zealand is just a great hunting country, man. But so is Australia too, to be honest, man. It's just unique in its own different ways. Like, I love Australia for hunting, man. Like, I've definitely spent more time now hunting in Australia than I have New Zealand.
Yeah.
And like, I reckon this place is, it's awesome, man. Like, because I think a lot of people, like, especially that unexperienced, have much experience or with Australia, is they just think it's a flat, barren land. Do you know what I mean? It's like, man, we've got some pretty good, like, you got like tropical rainforests down to like just hard going red earth, down to like your guys' place, like down in the highlands and all that country down there. Like, it just changes so vastly, eh?
Yeah, I'm in Adelaide, so like we've got the Adelaide Hills, which is like vineyards and orchards and real pretty. Yeah. But then you drive a couple of hours out and you've got just barren desert almost. Yeah. It looks like as I was speaking to one of my past guests, he lives in Arizona. I'm like, you could take photos and pass it as Arizona, just this dry, arid land.
Dude, it's crazy. Like, we did a road trip from Brisbane to we drove down to like Barossa Valley.
Yep.
And man, that road trip's wild. It is definitely like, yeah, the terrain that you see that changes so much it's so cool. But like we went down, we were staying in the Barossa for like a week, and then we went up to near, oh bloody up or down, I don't know which way it is now, to Mount Gambier.
Yep. Southeast.
Yeah, and we did a little bit of hunting down in Mount Gambier, like with an old bloke that owned a farm down there, Jeff Varco, his nickname's Sid Hunt. And yeah, it was just like even hunting down that property, like it was just big flat country with these like crazy big gums. Like I think they're called like squiggly gums or something like that. Just looks like kids trying to draw a tree. Like they just all over the shot. But yeah, just as the country just changes wherever you go, like it just has its distinct character of that area, eh?
Yeah, well, that's it. The southeast where you were down Mount Gambier way, it's like, you know, cold and like we say that's cold and wet all the time. You know, it's just it always seems like it's raining down there. But then if you go the same distance in the other direction in South Australia and you're hitting desert and the Flinders Ranges and all of that crazy stuff. But it's pretty and it blows people away. Like, you know, the Barossa Valley's only 25 minutes from where I am, and yeah, like I had a mate from America come down, and I drove him around and gave him spots to go check out while I was working, and he was just blown away. And same Cody Gearon, he came down here, and I gave him a tour of the Adelaide Hills, and he was blown away. He's just like, "Holy shit! I didn't realize that Adelaide had all of this."
Man, I would say Adelaide's probably one of my favorite cities in Australia. Like just as a foreign, like just a visitor man, tourist, I really liked it, man. Like I think it reminded me of home a little bit as far as like the coast goes as well, with like even seeing seals and stuff about like didn't even know we had bloody seals down like until I went down south, and I was like, oh, there you go. So
the bloody New Zealand fur seal.
yeah,
they're bloody pesky.
Like, oh, mate, they're bloody everywhere, those things, eh? I remember getting chased by those things as kids and whatnot, like, far out, they're just everywhere.
Yeah, there's a big thing about whether, you know, we should keep them or not. You know, they made their way naturally here and they're breeding up, and, you know, they're decimating fish stocks in certain areas. And, you know, I remember a few years ago an Aboriginal elder, he cracked the shits with them, and he ran and drove over and killed one. And like he's just like, they shouldn't be here, rah, rah, and then everyone's pissed off at him, and it's just
mate, I was gonna say that's like it's a hard one, bro. Like if they've naturally made it here, like who are we to intervene with it then? Like, but also we have a responsibility as well, so it's like it's a hard decision to make, I guess. But also you look what we've done to the landscape with feral animals of our doing, so
yeah, it's a hard one. Like I was having this conversation yesterday with my dad, and we're talking about dingoes, and it's like dingoes have been in Australia for 5,000 years, and you know we consider them as native because they were here when we got here. Like you know, and we've all introduced all these other species. When do we class them as native? Like in 5,000 years' time, will deer be native to New Zealand and Australia?
Man, you'd have to fact check me on this one, but like I'm pretty sure was it like Hawaii or something that like made the pig native? Or like they're not classed as an invasive species. There was some animal in Hawaii, possibly, but they had been there for like 800 years. But like that's what I mean. Like at what time period does it get the pass? But like I've spoken to like guys in like local council that do like deer culling, for instance. Like they're in charge of the programs up here, and like they've like openly said like we know that we're not getting rid of these deer. Like they're a part of this landscape now. Our job is now to try and just control the numbers. But they're like even that they're like we're pushing shit uphill, and like it's also at the taxpayer's expense. So mate, like I could jump down that rabbit hole on that as well, man. Like because it gets me fired up with the aerial culling and whatnot. But
how do you? With farming, how do you go with farming deer? How do you go with like council and all of that type of stuff with regulations?
As you just got to stick to like the ruling of like your fence heights and whatnot, and then everything's got to be tagged. It's got a pick number, like a livestock number and whatnot. So every animal's got its own tag. You got to transport, and you got to fill out your transport documents and whatnot. So it's literally you treat it like a cow.
Yeah.
Really, like it's no different. Like it's all above board. There's a lot of guys that I know that do it that are just doing it. You know what I mean? Like, and mate, all the power to them. They're still doing the right thing. They're setting their places up. But it's just for me, I've got to have it set up properly because obviously, even with what I do, man, and with the social media and all that stuff, like my name's out there. I'm pretty open that I'm farming, so I don't want to be doing dodgy shit and then getting caught out for it. So, but like to me, I don't think it's very difficult to get into. Like it's still very like I don't think there's big money in it unless you're doing like trophy hunting or something like that or high wire stuff. But as far as like I said, for me, like my personal stock and what I've got, that's just enjoyment.
No, that's
Eventually,
awesome.
Yeah,
I've heard stories of, you obviously know Water Valley down here, the big high fence deer farm hunting operation.
I've heard the name mentioned like a couple of times, and like I don't know anything about it, but I've heard like it's. I've heard someone mention Water Valley with elk and stuff like that as well down there, or
so it's 10 or 15,000 acres of high fence. Pretty much the deer fences are around to keep the deer in, keep the poachers, like the hunters, out type thing. And it was set up as a game hunting destination. But I've heard stories that, since we've brought all the regulations in, similar to what you guys have with the ear tagging and the livestock numbers and that, they've been told that they have to tag anything, and everything that's not tagged, they're gonna fly over with a chopper and shoot.
I can say I'll give you the best example right now. Like going back to what I was saying when I hunted down in Mount Gambier. So Jeff Varco that owns his block, and he's like, I went down and did a high wire hunt down there, and like that was my first time experiencing high wire hunting and whatnot. And so I've stayed in touch with him regularly since because he was born on that farm, man. He's 75 odd.
Yeah,
he's probably old now. He'll be 78 nearly, and so he's got a wealth of knowledge of deer farming. So like I lean on him with a lot of stuff, as well as multiple other people that I know in this industry. And like when I spoke to him, I think it was 2.5 years ago that had happened. Like they came through and said, you have to tag all these animals or else we're going to come back through and fine you for each one, and then we're going to shoot them. In a nutshell, they were going to get rid of them because they were classed as a pest. And so he eventually did get it all. Like he got them all through. He was fortunate; he had yards and whatnot, and managed to run them all through. Like I think it was a 1,000-acre high fence gig. So he had the facilities to run them through. But as a 75-year-old man, it's not an easy task. So you obviously get contractors in and help you out. But yeah, I don't know how you'd go about doing 10,000 acres in Water Valley then. Like.
It's crazy. I'm hearing more and more stories of, landscape board or whatever they call invasive species, all of that. Bullying farmers into letting them shoot, or even shooting on properties that they don't have permission on, and then telling the farmers that they're allowed to do it.
Yeah, mate. Dude, I think it was like last year or something when there was that video footage came out in South Australia. Those helicopters, just like, oh mate, honestly, like. It's just like, how the fuck does the government like not want, and the general population are not like some people, not everyone, but not cool with hunting and that's idea, but they're cool with that.
Yeah, it's
like, and then seeing those things gut shot and still alive like a day or two later, like it makes no sense, man. And then like the expenses that we're paying when you got a renewable resource there to control these numbers. And like, I mean, mate, if you tried that option and it wasn't working, then you'd be like, look, proofs in the pudding, we tried it with hunters and it's not controlling the numbers enough. We need to start culling. You'd be like, yeah, okay, we've given it a crack.
Yeah.
But it just makes no sense to me, man. Like
it blows.
The same, like, yeah, sorry, go on.
No, it's all good. It blows me away, like just the waste from it. And I say it all the time, you look at the homeless populations around the major cities, like if you do stuff like the Seeker Foundation does in NZ, where they actually go do these culls, collect the meat, you can take them to a butcher, get them processed, and then donate that meat to these these homeless shelters. Like you'd be doing the world of good.
Oh man, and like that's the thing, but there's just so much rules and legislation, and like it's just that trying to constantly fix something that's not broken. Like, and it's like you just need just pushing shit uphill with these guys that have got no exposure or common sense, but their law degree or their fucking diploma in law and arts and whatnot says otherwise. But yeah, it shits me as well because like, man, the amount of guys I know that even pig hunt and stuff and like that old rule that pigs you can't eat them because of whatnot. It's like, man, with areas we hunt, man, they're good quality pigs. I'd like to see a butcher that has the same quality as some of these pigs that we get. And it's like, but they can't. They can only feed so much themselves. But they've got to help the farmer and try to get rid of these pigs, so they're just left to rot.
Yeah, I was gonna when you brought up pigs earlier, saying that you kept the fat from the pigs that you guys shot. How many of the pigs are you eating, and what are you looking for? Because that's one thing in Australia that most people will shoot and just leave without even looking twice at them.
Man, I've done I wouldn't say like compared to a lot of boys I know, like my pig hunting experience is fuck all compared to those guys. But I know enough it's the same as a deer to know if you got a healthy pig. And like first straight away, it's just visually seeing the fat content on them. Like I've hunted out west and I've hunted down on the border and stuff, and we've had just feral smelling pigs, and you can just smell it straight away in the meat, whether it's worth keeping or not. But like up where we hunt a lot, we're fortunate. There's a lot of harvest paddocks, a lot of macadamia farms in the region and stuff like that. So these guys are eating that prime tucker. So they've got good fat content straight away. So that's going to help them fight any parasites and worms and whatnot. But a lot of these worms are also intestinal. So you're pulling that out anyway. It's got nothing to do with the meat.
Yeah.
And then you obviously want to look at your liver, your lungs, your kidneys, your heart, and inspect those and make sure those vitals are healthy looking. And that's just like, that's a layman's terms of putting it, man. Like there could be another bloke listening to this right now and like, nah. But it's how we do it, and it's worked for us. Like you can identify a healthy pig with common sense. And like if it is something that you're not sure about, like you just discard it then, man. Like it's at the end of the day, it's a pig that does a feral pig. But like if you can utilize it, then yeah, I'd say use it.
No, that's awesome. I've eaten feral pig in New Zealand. My first, I actually haven't shot a pig in Australia yet.
I say like, man, obviously like once like you and I like we haven't talked a great lot. Like we've had connection on like over social media from here and there, but like talking to you about like coming on here and whatnot, and like I kind of dived down a rabbit hole because I was like, fuck, I've never been on a podcast, man. Like I better start doing my research and actually like. So I started like listening to like, because I've listened to a few of your episodes, but I was like, fuck it, I'm going to sit down and just start listening. So I think I've knocked out a fair few since I spoke to you.
No killer.
And like listening, a few of them was like you with pigs. I'd heard you bring up you're pretty useless or you haven't had much luck with them.
Not in Australia. Like my first pig I shot was in NZ, and it was big fat sow over there, and she was beautiful. They turned her into sausages and whatnot, and I ate some that the farmer had shot previously, and it was amazing. And then when I was over in Mexico, we shot a few small pigs and cooked them up and ate them and cooked them up over mesquite.
Were they just like in Mexico, man, like just wild pig
just wild pig, just boars? They had the pigs, and then they also had javelina as well. So
So what took you over there, man?
So we had a mate, like one of my mates made friends with this guy from Texas, and he had a guiding operation over in Mexico, and we invited him down here, and we took him hunting. We got him a fallow, then we drove over to Victoria, got him a samba. Where we were hunting, there was a high fence deer farm close by, and we're driving past and we seen the reds, and he goes, "Oh, I wonder if that guy will let me shoot a red." So we've gone up to the door and knocked on the door and said, "Hey, how much for a red?" The guy told him, and he goes, "All right, no worries, I'll go to the ATM now." And so got him some cash and got him some carton of beer, and so he shot a fallow, a red, and a samba in a week and a half of being in Australia, and he was that stoked.
Like a lot of us try for our whole life and probably don't tick off.
Like it was a red stag. It was a samba hind and a young fallow doe, but it was still good fun.
Still something to go home and be proud. Like even the high fence hunt, man. Like I get half of it. Like, but he's ticking off the memory, man. So,
That's
but
it.
Mexico would be pretty crazy though.
Yeah, so yeah, he's just like, all right, guys, you've shown me a wicked time down here. Come over, help me set up for my guiding season, and you guys can take a couple deer each. So
Yeah, so
that's what we did, and yeah, shot a bunch of javelina and rattlesnake and jackrabbits and
did you take the skins or anything off the rattlesnake?
I didn't. I ate the rattlesnake.
Yeah.
Cooked that up. I ate it, but I didn't keep the skin. I just thought it'd be too much of a hassle, going over
Yeah.
the Mexican border and then flying back to Oz. Like, I've got I've got an Aoudad up there, high fence Aoudad that I shot while I was in Texas. And just like the capes and all of that stuff's a pain in the ass to get back to. One day I'll get a cape.
Oh man,
for her.
dude, I went to Africa like 2 years ago, man, and like holy shit, that place is fun. Like I'll say that, but like yeah, dude, like I definitely have got to say that it's Future Jack's problem, and it was Future Jack's problem like this last 6 months because I've been like we got a heap of stuff taxidermy, so I had to get like all our permits like to import and to export out of South Africa, and sites permits, man, fucking hell, man, like. I've been doing it for I said to the boys because I went over with two other blokes and I've been handling all I booked their tickets to the accommodation with them, handled all the shit for them because they're just one's 76, the other one he's just a bloke, like he's just as useless as me, but I've just ended up with a short straw. So I was like, no, I'll handle it. Holy yeah. What I'm saying is with the Texas stuff in Mexico, dude, it's worth it, but far out, it's a headache, dude.
Yeah, I didn't even worry about the cape for my whitetail or my Aoudad. I'm just like, yeah, future problem. I'll just get one from somewhere. They've got so much high fence hunting over there. I can get one. It's like saying with my tar. It's 2 years ago. I hunted over there, and my tar's still at the taxidermist down there. Haven't heard from him. Yeah. I'm just like whenever.
People don't realize, man. Like I think a lot of people it's probably new to or hasn't experienced that. They think it's going to be there within a few months. Like. I'm the same boat as you. It was 2 years ago, July, now that we went over there.
I'm just waiting for the email from from this taxidermist saying, hey, I'm ready to send this stuff over now.
Oh, mate, yeah. You know that bill's coming, eh? Dude, we've had 2 years of just knowing we're going to get this taxidermy bill from Africa. Like, I'm just like a kid waiting for dad to get home with my wife over the bill. I was like, fuck, it's coming soon, and I'm going to have to deal with this. And it came 2 weeks ago, so I was pretty fucking popular in the household.
I bet.
Yeah, but well, so, I've got 20 something animals coming over.
Fuck. So
yeah, so
what was your goal species over there, and what did you take?
Oh, dude, so the backtrack, how I got into it, because I've got to give him a shout because I know he'll listen to this, but one of my clients who I was going with over here in the Red Deer rut that I do each year his name's Yanni Berg. He's a South African lad, and just as South African as they can come, bro. Just your typical fucking tough rugby boys, and on the piss, man, just dangerous to be around. But he started off as a client, so he had offered to us for a couple of years to go to Africa and stuff. So eventually he said. He was going, and I was like, fuck it. Yeah, I'm going to come with, man. If the invite's still on the table, I'll come. So I went over there, back to what your question was, I went over there with, I think it was 8 animals that I wanted to hunt. I think it was I wanted to go and shoot a water buffalo. Cape buffalo. Which a lot of people, I found out, you don't do it on your first trip. It's something you go and experience and you work into it. But I was like, no, fuck that. I want to go do this. So that was my number one. Then I was kudu, wildebeest, impala. I want to do a water buck, and a few others anyway. But the thing that a lot of people don't tell you is you go over there with these intentions, and then these sappers load you with fucking brandy and convince you all these good ideas, man. And you end up me coming home with 20 plus animals in the container.
That's crazy.
But, oh, dude, it was a great, awesome trip though, man. It was just such an eye opener to another country. Definitely makes me appreciate Australia, but made me love Africa as well.
It's been on my list since I was 3 or 4, man. Like that's how long it's been on my list. You know, I'd always promise my pop that, you know, if I ever have money, I'm like, we'll do a hunting trip to Africa one day. We'll do it. And every time I see him, he goes, "We going to Africa yet?"
Yeah. Man, I was fortunate to meet some like really good lads over there through Yanni as well. Like I became real good mates with one bloke, and I actually ended up, he flew out and lived with us for 6 months last year.
Oh, killer!
Like he was in there, living around us and my wife and the kids just in the spare room, and like came out and stayed and helped out during the rut and whatnot. And like it was fortunate I met some really good guys like him and other blokes that now if I go back there, I know they'll look after me because it's a two-way street. But like, you got to go over there and just go and meet some people and just see the culture, dude. Like, it's just, there's nothing that weighs up to it as far as that. And like, it's like New Zealand as far as like that hunting community goes, but it's just on like, it's like that on steroids. Yeah. Because like, you've got like so many species that you can hunt. And like, oh, dude, like, I don't know if this is going to change the podcast, but just for you, for your video viewing, like, I've got this picture in my room, and it's like when we flew into Africa, it just has all like your game species on it and stuff like that. And it's really cool. Like, so I had to get that put into a frame and whatnot.
So, but like, because it's an audio podcast, I'll just describe it's a map of Africa, and then it's got all the game species, photos, and names behind the actual map of Africa, the continent.
So it's games of Africa, and then it goes from like 1 and naming species, and it goes right up to 111.
That's crazy. So it's 111 species in Africa you can hunt.
Yes.
That's killer. That's awesome.
Like, dude, like, it's just, some of them would be obviously green hunts, because I'm looking at some of them, and like there's a couple rhinos and whatnot on there, and like obviously you can still go and do your green hunts on those and whatnot. But it was just an eye-opener, even like, and it's another version of like what we spoke before about with people that aren't knowledgeable, like don't have experience or exposure to hunting, that eat meat, for instance, and just think it's to put their nose up it. I was kind of like that with Africa, not completely, but I was like, man, I'm not a trophy hunter, or like, you know what I mean? Like, I hunt for my meat. Like, so this was like a first time trip where I was like, I'm going there to hunt for trophies. Yeah. And like, it was a weird thing. Like, I'd said it to Yanni, and I was like, it just feels, I don't feel right about it. But like my thing to him, I said, I was like, mate, like any animal I shoot, I want to have it for dinner. Like, it's got to, I want to get a prime cut. It's got to be for dinner, just so I can say I've tried it. But like, it's told me because of the, like, obviously the meat goes back into the community as well. Like, all that meat just doesn't rot on the ground. Like, you're feeding like a very low income community.
Yeah, that's it.
And like, it's like the smiles on some of their faces, man, like it was pretty cool as well. But like, that money that goes into like the hunting is such an investment, because it's conservation for them, because it's a renewable resource. So the money that you're spending is just reinvesting on keeping those animals alive. Like, hunting in Africa brings in more money than tourism.
Yeah, well, Steve Ranella's down there at the moment. He's in Tanzania, and they've been covering all of this stuff about, you know, how they the meat goes back into it. They're hiring guides. You know, the tag system, like the permit system. You know, they're allocated so many animals. And they have to.
It opened my eyes completely on it, and like, it's just my views on it changed. Like, when I left, I didn't feel bad about what had happened. I had the best experience, and like, I can now say I contributed towards what Africa is about.
That's good.
Which I think, if you're a hunter, I think it should definitely be on everyone's bucket list.
Was there animals there that surprised you? Like, you're like, oh, I probably wouldn't shoot something like that, and then you got there and you're like, all right, I'm fucking shooting that.
Yeah, like there was a couple animals like I didn't have intentions of like hunting, and like probably one would be the giraffe I shot.
Oh, killer!
I to be like, even now, like I still like, I feel like it's just a weird subject, man. Like, 'cause I'm like, yeah, I shot a fucking giraffe, but like it was really cool. Like, the guy, like, he sold me this story on it. Like, it wasn't lying, but like, I know what he was trying to do. He was trying to like just make me feel better about if I wanted to do it. He's like, look, we've got a couple old females on the farm. They haven't put out any offspring for the last couple of years, blah blah blah. I was like, look, mate, like I probably will hunt it, mate. I was like, you don't need to tell me that story, but like, if that's gonna make me sleep better at night, sweet, mate. It was the best meat I've ever tried in my life.
Yeah, I've heard good things about giraffe.
Man, I'll tell everyone, like, man, the number one meat from Africa I've ever tried is giraffe.
That's
and like
crazy.
I think a lot of people, and like it was my kind of misconception as well on giraffes, was that they're kind of like that animal that's just like endangered, or like there's not many of them. It's like, mate, they're fucking everywhere over there. Like once I started seeing stuff like that, I'm just like, no, these guys are really common. Like I'm not actually going to impact them on that aspect. And the money they're using, they were going to go and reinvest in the giraffe sector. I was like, okay, cool. Like, let's give it a go. So now I've got a pedestal giraffe coming back in the container as well.
That's sick. That's so good. What was it like pulling the trigger on a giraffe? Like, because you're kind of like shooting upwards.
So like it's like I think my shot was like no more than like 160, 170 meters away, probably close to 150. The shooting part is not a challenge if you're an experienced shooter. Like,
but it's more like it's not so much the challenge side of it. It's like you've got a giraffe in the crosshairs.
Mate, it doesn't seem real. Like as a Kiwi or an Australian, seen a giraffe, man, it's pretty fucking out of it. Like it's the challenge I found was finding them, but then like you said, it's the surrealness of seeing a giraffe in your crosshairs. Like it's like I'll never probably see that again. Like it's just something. Yeah, they'll live with me forever.
What was it like walking up on it? Like after the shot, walking up on the ground and just seeing like. Because, like, you go to a zoo, you feed a giraffe, you see him, you're looking up at him, you're behind a fence, but walking up on a dead one on the ground after shooting it.
Yeah, the sheer size and volume, just dead weight, is just insane. Like, even trying to get, like, a picture with it, man, like, far out, dude. Like, you need multiple lads to help you out. And then, like, even then, like, we finished getting some photos, and I think we waited... It took about 45 minutes to an hour before a machine could drive from their property to where our location was, and they had a big JCB turn up, and they just took this thing away in the JCB, and like the JCB was struggling with it, man. Like, and then like I don't know if it's on. To be honest, it's not on my social media as a giraffe because I just knew the stir that would cause. Yeah. Like, I'd have to explain to everyone individually. They would get upset for them to understand. I was like, I can't be fucked trying to explain this, so I'm just going to enjoy this memory myself. So this is actually the first time it's been talked about publicly. But like we went back with them and we spent probably it was a few hours, man, in the butchery area, man, like caping out, and then just the meat that came off that animal was crazy. Like it just doesn't seem like it should exist. But like, and then as I said, all that meat went back into the families and the communities. Like it's, you feel good about that. Like it just got a good circle to it.
That's killer. What was it like? Did you like me thinking about shooting a giraffe, like, and walking up on it? I feel like I'd just have to like lay down next to it just to try and like feel like how long the neck is and all of that shit when it's on the ground. Like I feel like I'd be like almost doing like a snow angel next to it just to try.
Dude, like it is. It's so out of it. Just it doesn't, like I said, it doesn't seem like it's something that should exist. Like let alone you've just hunted one and stuff. Like they make you feel tiny, man.
Because they're an antelope species, aren't they? Or family of the antelope.
I'll say don't quote me on. I know no, they wouldn't be an antelope species actually, because the largest antelope is a oh god, I'm actually looking at the wall right now trying to remember the bloody name of it. It's the largest antelope, and it's oh gosh, here we go, 29. I didn't get to shoot one, but my friend did. An eland, sorry, an eland. Yep. Yeah, an eland. Yeah, they're the largest antelope, so a giraffe wouldn't be, I don't think.
Yeah, they're cool. What do you reckon the weight is on a giraffe?
On a giraffe? Oh gosh, to be honest, mate, I wouldn't be able to tell you because I didn't put it on my shoulders. No,
would have made a killer photo.
They do a cool photo where the neck goes like around you and like a halo and stuff, like, and like you're kind of holding it on your shoulders, but. Mate, I wouldn't be able to tell you, to be honest, man. They would have to be up around like the 900 kilo plus mark, surely.
Crazy.
They are a lanky animal, though. Yeah.
Real lean meat on them?
It was like a real red, but it was a sweet meat. It was just it tasted like it had been like marinated.
Yeah, wow.
We just brought it straight on the campfire, like just on a hot plate. And like I said, we tried every animal while we were there. I think the worst was the Cape buffalo.
Yeah.
That was just tough as like leather. But like I said, we were just Brian. We were just straight on the fire, so there wasn't anything fancy happening or whatnot. But the giraffe definitely was like just a sweet flavor and just oh mate, I'd have it again in a heartbeat. Eh?
That's killer. What about stuff like baboons? Did you tick off some baboons? Because that's a funny one for
Man,
people.
dude, we tried. They're a clever bloody critter, mate. Like they're pretty switched on. Like we hunted a few around the local like the farmhouses where the orange plants, like the orange trees were, just because they'd come through and raid on those. And like, mate, I think we saw them once or twice, but I think just because they had that much pressure on them because it was partly farmland around that area as well, like agricultural stuff. So I think they were pretty smart. Like there's oh mate, I could talk for a while about those things, like the stories I've heard about them over there. Like
they're brutal.
one main one I remember. Oh dude, like but just like a friend of like Yanni that went there with like they were talking about trying to get this one baboon that they couldn't get. And he was like, they were seeing traps, like cages, and like they'd caught him lifting the cage to let the others out of the cage. Like, and then the only way they got him is they ended up leaving a loaded rifle up on the hillside where they were like the baboons were, and he ended up fucking accidentally shooting himself that night playing with the gun. And like, dude, like,
that's mental.
I didn't believe him, but like he swears black and blue he's telling the truth. I'm like, man, that like it's. Yeah, they are a clever animal though, man. Just even me seeing them a few times, they're not stupid.
That's how Planet of the Apes starts, leaving monkeys rifles.
Dude, we were literally only talking about this story like a couple of weeks ago, and I made the same reference. I was like, we were saying, oh, you seen that video in the Congo of the chimp picking up the ape and stuff. I was like, it just reminds me of that. But yeah, it's
that's
I don't
mental.
know, mate. Like, and he I know he will listen to this podcast, so he'll be having a chuckle at it. But yeah,
well, if he wants to come on and chat about these things,
oh mate, honestly, he could spin a yarn for a while, mate. Some of the stories he's got from over there, like Yanni, he lives up in Gladstone, so he's about an hour north of my farm.
Yeah, beautiful.
And so like he does a lot of guiding as well. Like he had his first year this year actually coming on as a guide for me, well with me, sorry, for the red deer.
Yeah, killer.
But so yeah, he started as a client and now he's guiding himself. And oh, dude, he's crushing it with the pig hunting and hunting rusa up north and whatnot as well. So it's cool to see.
That's wicked. That's wicked.
Yeah.
You know, I know we just spoke about Africa, and it sounds like you took a lot of your dream animals. What would be your top 5 dream animals left? You know, money not an issue anywhere in the world. What would your top 5 be?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like just purely from a hunting trophy kind of point of view, like without feelings like dismissed out of it, I would be like saying, I'd have to say a grizzly, man. Like I'd love to have do a grizzly hunt. I've spoken to a friend about that, like possibly doing one maybe in Russia because he thinks America won't be a big enough challenge. So like he wants to really wild west it, but I reckon a grizzly hunt would be pretty epic. Mate, I'd love to do an elk in the US. There'd be a few animals in the US, I reckon. Elk, caribou, a whitetail, and then I'd probably have to say a mule deer as well.
Yeah, killer.
So yeah, four deer and one bear. So yeah, but I could write a big list of my ideal animals.
So could I, man. It's shorter for me to write what's not on the list, and there's not much.
Yeah. Oh man, there's just dude, it's a deep hole you can slide down, man. Once you get into the old hunting scene, but like the things you can experience around the world is crazy, eh?
Where I don't think I've asked this question on the podcast before, but where would you draw the line? Like, is there much that, you know, being legal and is there much you wouldn't hunt, like if it was legal?
Well, like from my moral compass, so to speak, for myself, like, man, like I went over to Africa with the HU. I was like, I've never been keen on like hunting predator animals, like. Do you know what I mean? Like it's like I've changed my mind on a few of those things, like how that works. But like a lion was one thing that I've always kind of like the Karens that put their nose up at hunting in general. Like I've kind of put my nose up at the lion stuff, and like my eyes got opened a bit more over there. Like my views, they still honestly haven't changed. So like, I don't think I could go and shoot a lion.
Yeah.
But I can completely respect someone that does. Like that's their decision, and that's what they're doing, and it's deeper than just a simple black and white statement like that. But it's just for me, it's like we saw a lion that had killed a buffalo the night before, and like it was pretty cool, man. Like, so I'd say, yeah, a lion for me would be like my moral compass. I'd just feel bad.
Yeah,
like, yeah. Obviously, you don't feel joy for killing anything, but I think for me that would be my one.
Well,
what about you?
Yeah, there is joy to it. It's one of those weird things, and it's always hard to explain to someone that's never hunted before. But you feel like a range of emotions. It's like you're not joyful that the animal's dead, but you kind of are because you're being
stoked with the result
yeah.
of the success. Yeah, like
it's a hard one to explain.
It's hard without sounding like psycho. Like because it's not bloodlust thing.
Yeah,
like we're trying to achieve something like. But that's what I said. I was like, dude, I've always grown up. I was like, this is how we feed ourselves.
Yeah.
This is literally how we go and get our meat. So when we went to Africa, it was a completely different emotion of like I suppose in my way, justifying what I'm doing as well, like how I'm hunting, because it's a gathering point of view, whereas that's a different view. But like then seeing how it actually works over there changed my mind completely.
Yeah, I'd be very similar to you. I'd be wanting to try every single thing that I shot, like,
I feel like I just owed it to that animal as well, man. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't care what I shoot, I'll try. Like, and I've done that with everything, dude. Like, everything I've shot, I've eaten before in my life, dude. I've eaten, like, wild dog before.
That's crazy. That's probably over the line that I'd,
man. It actually went pretty hard, eh? Like,
I heard they say it's a hot meat. They say that like you eat it and you kind of feel warm after eating it. Like I've spoken to a lot of Vietnamese and Cambodians, and that's how they describe it.
Yeah, we shot a wild dog during the rut like a couple of years ago, and like it was like a bit of liquid courage here as well. But we made like a red Thai chili dish out of it. And man,
so it was a hot meat.
Yeah, that's why I was laughing when you say hot meat. I was like, it was pretty good. Have I done it since? No. Because it's just a mental thing, I guess. But
see, I reckon if you served it, like if you said, "Look, this is dog, give it a try," I'd be like, "Yeah, all right, no worries." I don't know if I could cook it myself, but I haven't been in that situation.
I didn't cook. I went through the process and like because obviously with your councils and stuff shoot wild dogs up here. There's bounty for them with the local council. So I went for and skinned it for the landowner, and he got that, and then. I was like, man, like once it was skinned, I was like, just looks like meat, dude. Like, I was like, let's just knock a back quarter off and just see what happens. And so I gave it to my mate, and he cooked it. So it kind of took that edge away from me. But I never had it again. But
hey, you can say you've tried it, and yeah, I probably would try it too. But jumping back to what I probably wouldn't shoot. Like I thought about this question when I was in Phuket a couple years ago. We were feeding the Asian elephants, and it's just like if I reckon I could shoot an African elephant, but I don't think I could shoot an Asian elephant. I don't. It's weird, but it was like the thought that I was having while I was feeding these elephants.
It's such a weird subject, man. Like, it's funny, like, when you're talking about, like, top animals and, like, a glass and, like, I can see, like, elephant looking straight at me. I'm just like, I don't know how I'd feel about it. Like, the population density of some of those elephants in Africa is out of control.
Yeah.
And, like, it's insane. Like, and that's the thing. It was the same thing with, like, the giraffe that I said earlier. Like, you have this false interpretation that these guys are nearly extinct. But, like, then you go to some areas and they're just destroying the habitat, like, because they're just out of control. Like oh gosh, what's the big national park in the Kruger?
Yep.
Like the numbers there is like mental.
Insane. I got a gorgeous photo of like the reason why when I was talking about the elephants I'm looking up, I got a gorgeous painting from Ian Fenton that I got given during the rut this year of a big bull elephant and a few ones. So when I was talking about it, that's what I'm looking at there.
But I agree with you, man. I don't know like how I'd feel about shooting something like that. But then, yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one, but like I wouldn't raise my eyebrows at someone that went and did it.
Nah, neither. It's like
You know,
my sister, she does like pest control stuff. So she goes changes baits out and bait stations, and she went to a vineyard a couple weeks ago, and she sends me these photos of all these 60, 70-year-old mounts, probably older, and big 30-inch sambar, hog deer, and cats. This guy in the storage container in the back of this place has got all these flat-skinned leopards, lions, all of this stuff, and this stuff would be 70, 80 plus years old, taxidermy just rotting
Can you
away.
imagine doing that shit that long ago too, man? Like going to Africa back in those days,
on
man,
a boat.
yeah, like the real McCoy, like dude, that would have been like we've got it pretty good like nowadays, but like those back then would have been epic, eh?
Oh, just the adventure. I could definitely see
It'd be
myself
crazy, man.
stowing away on a boat and ending up in Africa or something.
Oh, you do it with a smile on your face, eh? Like just cut away from humanity, like society, and just bugger off.
And
Awesome.
we've grown up watching all of these animals, David Attenborough, all of that. Back then, you'd just hear stories of what these animals look like, and a painting you didn't see.
Oh yeah, man! Like it would just be a crazy experience. Like like you said, like seeing paintings and cartoons and stuff, and then actually seeing these things like just straight up in front of you.
Yeah,
it would be.
Oh, you had it. You went over to Africa.
Yeah, I did, but that's what I mean. Like the difference is like we grew up, like you and I here, like we grew up pretty well exposed to like the visuals of like understanding. Like it's still different once you see it in person. Like seeing a giraffe in person on the ground, like it's a surreal thing. Like it's way different. But like back then I feel like it would just be out the gate.
Yeah, it'd be absolutely crazy. Like we got an open range zoo here that you jump in a bus and it takes you around. See giraffes, and you're in a bus right next to a giraffe and all these other species. There's eland and all sorts of things. But yeah, being on the ground, being able to hunt them is crazy. It's like I see the Barbary sheep there. I'm like, oh, I've hunted one of them.
Right, I was gonna say, like we went to Australia Zoo like last year sometime, and I got my kids in the back. Like my youngest, man, she's just like, there's no filter, dude. She just says it is. And like we're down like safari, and she's like, "You killed one of those, eh, Dad?" Like, told her like, and like everyone's just like swung their head. I was like, "Shut the fuck up!" Like, well, it's not really the place for these people. Like they're trying to get this like nice Disney moment with their cameras and stuff like that.
That's hilarious.
But like you see some of the animals like in the zoos, you're like, yeah, I've ticked that one off. Yeah, I've done that one. Yeah, it's like tried that one before, but
that's so funny. I had a similar thing when I was a kid. We were going around this Monado Zoo, and I've got the wallaby section, and apparently been 4 or 5 on the back of the bus. Hey Pop, you shoot them, don't you? And it was very similar reaction, like shut up.
Oh, dude, you get some you get some stares, man. We had it today, like even did like we'd shot that rusa stag this morning, and like I've got like a crane arm on the back of my cruiser, so like if I can get to the deer, I can pull up and I can put like the endless chain on it and lift this thing right up, and it just hangs. I love it, man. I did it like about 6 months ago. It's just because I'm now in my 30s, like I'm like I just don't just bear hug shit the same anymore. Like everything is starting to hurt more, so I've made this. And I've just like put the S hook through the hook, hung it on that, done like gutted it out, and thrown it on the tray, and then shut the swing arm again. So the S hook's still in the back leg, so half the ass is sticking up on the back of the tray, and then I put my cover over it, so you can just see like these hindquarters sticking up in the air. And like we've jumped on the Bruce Highway and headed down, and just hit traffic hard. So like we've got like all these like dude, like bumper to bumper traffic of just people like just like nearly bumper hitting each other, trying to steer at what's on the back of the chute. I'm like trying to talk to my mate. I'm like, mate, I'm not 100% on the legalities of like if we're like, I don't know. Like I was like, there's no issue. Like what we've done is everything's above board, but like, are you allowed to let people see you traveling with a feral animal that you've shot? Like I don't know. Like I did ask a friend, and he's like, no. He said there's nothing against the law of doing that, but you might upset some people. But
Yeah.
fuck, the amount of kids in the back seat that were just breaking their neck looking back at it.
That's
It's
gold.
like,
I
yeah.
remember chatting to a Victorian friend that came over, and they said that they had a Samba on their roof, and they went through a Macca's drive-through, and they're pulling out of the Macca's drive-through, and big fat lady walks out of Macca's. She's got handful of McDonald's one hand, drinking the other, and she's like, "Oh, that's fucking disgusting. Why would you do that?"
But maybe I think you should try it, love.
And they just said it was the funniest thing, just seeing this big gross lady holding all this McDonald's in one hand, and she's like disgusted that they've got meat on their roof.
Oh, dude, honestly, yeah, it's such a common thing back home. Like, but like, it reminds me like when I went from when I was down in South Australia, dude. Like, I shot this big red stag down there, and I had nowhere to put it. Like, I just strapped his like head, like I'd skinned, like caped it out, and I just kept, I put the skull on the head. And just duct taped it to the fucking head mount of the back of the tray. So the whole way I'm driving from like South Australia to Queensland, there's just this head on the back door, man. Like, some of the like just the disgusted looks you'd get, and then some other people would go past like cheering and giving the thumbs up and whatnot. Like, it's just crazy how like the people, how they perceive it.
Yeah, I had the same thing coming back from New South Wales this year with my red, because it wouldn't fit in the canopy. I had to strap it to the swags on the roof, and there was just like tines sticking out the front and the sides, and you just looked like a Viking warship.
I get so excited with like I ever spot another hunter out, and like, dude, I'm like celebrating for them, man. If I see it, I'm like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, it's good to see it. It needs to be normalized.
Yeah, we were on a family holiday down in Victor Harbour down here in South Australia in I would have been Easter time, and that's peak rut, and driving down the main street of Victor Harbour, and I just caught a glimpse of an antler on a fallow palm strapped to the back of some guy's ute, and my neck, like, I swung around that hard I almost pulled something. I'm like, oh yeah, sweet, someone's
dude,
getting out.
You just get excited, eh?
Oh.
Man, like, I think, like, dude, I go out at least once a fortnight, if not probably more. And like, even like, dude, if I see, but like last week we went out, and like we spotted like a dead stag on the side of the road, like someone had hit this stag. And like, I haven't seen, like, you don't see roadkill up here often, like as far as deer go. And I was like to my mate, I was like, mate, if he is there when we come back, I'm collecting him, mate. Like, I was like, I've got a dump hole for wild dogs. We're getting this guy, and he's going, because I had the horse, I was like, I'm collecting. I was like, I'm not wasting a good stag, and we can put a trap out for a wild dog at the same time. And mate, we pulled up. I didn't realize how busy the highway. Like, it was like on a main road, and we pulled up and picked this thing. I was like, I'm not fucking wasting this thing, dude. Like, I just get, if you spot, like, it's like, see on the back of the, you see a stag or see anything, you just get excited for it straight away. Eh?
Oh, whenever I see a deer driving, we got deer everywhere through the Adelaide Hills here, and I do a fair few deliveries in the hills, and we'll have an offsider in the truck, and I'm like, oh, there's a deer, there's one bedded down, and they're like, I'm driving doing 100 k's up the freeway, and I'm like, there's a deer, there's one, and they're like, how the fuck are you seeing all this shit?
I swear it's just like embedded in you, just constantly scouting, eh?
Oh, dude, it's ridiculous.
But it just always gets you excited when you spot something, like, regardless, just like, you're just like, fuck yeah, there's a deer, yeah. Sweet.
Oh, dude, I see rabbits on the side of the road. I'm like, rabbit, fox, hare,
squirrel.
Well, we're getting towards the end there now. These three are my three favorite questions of the podcast. How do you see the public views on hunting and hunters?
Mate, I think it's definitely a broad range. I think that the negative views get brought to the spotlight more than the normal views, just because it's controversial and whatnot, but I don't think it makes up for the greater majority of the view on it. I just think it's what gets the more of the attention because it's controversial and whatnot. So I think as far as like majority goes, I think a lot of just normal down to earth people do understand it because they've got common fucking sense.
Yep.
But in this society, mate, you listen to the 5% of the woke. So I think that's what has allowed a voice, and I think that's what lets itself down. But I think the great majority agree with it, but it's just, I don't know, it's just not normalized enough over here, I think, just because you have kickback from a small group.
Yep. So how would you change the public views on hunting and hunters?
Just being unapologetic for what we're doing, man.
Yep.
Like it's just, yeah, mate. I'm not changing just because it's making you upset. Like, and like the thing is, what I'm doing is I'm setting a bar. I'm setting an example for my children. I'm feeding my family. I'm doing something that is being passed down from me by generation. So to me, it's part of my culture almost. You know what I mean? Like this is who we are as hunters, and like
100%.
I'm not changing. I'm not changing it. I'm not changing a damn thing because of that. So that to me is what I'll continue to do to normalize it.
Nah, that's perfect answer. And finally, this is my favorite question because I just love how everybody answers it in their own unique way. What is hunting to you?
Oh man, hunting's everything. It's who I am down to. It's in my DNA. It's just who I am as a person, mate. It's what connects me with the land. It's what connects me with my children. What connects me with my friends in the community. Hunting's everything, mate. Like I think it's just got such a positive impact on a lot of people and what you can do with it. And us as hunters have a responsibility to keep that image there in a positive light.
Yeah, nah, 100%. Like I don't get, like, you know, I see people who obsess over football and soccer and rugby and all of these other things. And it's just like, you know, whenever I get asked, oh, did you watch the game on the weekend? It's, no, I didn't. And they're like, oh, what? You don't like football? I'm like, yeah, you can't put a deer in the freezer with a football. Like,
no, yeah. That's a luxury to me. Like, that's a privilege. Like, and like, yeah, I think like this is real life, and like at the end of the day, like people can disconnect with supermarkets and do everything they want, but this is real life, man. And like we're fortunate to have the access and the opportunities to do what we do, so we've got to maintain it.
Yeah, it just popped into my mind, but probably 8, 9, maybe 10 years ago, a bunch of AFL players did a campaign against duck hunting. I'm not sure if you've ever seen it, but they're like, they're holding a dead duck in one hand and they got a football in the other, and they're like, this is not a sport, this is a sport. It's like, that football's leather, motherfucker. Your boots are leather.
Where do you think the leather came from? Yeah. As said, like the irony of it is like that's what I said, like RSPCA with ducks, but they're approving chooks.
Yeah.
It's like, man, it's just you can't fix stupid sometimes, man. It is just a strange little world that we live in sometimes. But like I said, it's the 5% of the woke that get their voice over the 95% of the common sense.
That's it. You mentioned before that you do some guiding. What guiding do you do, and where can people find you if they're interested in a hunt?
So I guide in southeast Queensland for the red deer for the wild rut. I love it. It's something I just will keep doing until I can't physically do it anymore. It's just cool to take clients out and see them shoot their first stags or try to beat their scores and fill their freezers and just be in camp, man. Definitely feel pretty buggered and you miss your family and kids after like 3 or 4 weeks in camp. But I love it, man. It's great. And then I do a bit of high fence hunting as well. So not for everyone, but like I said, it's a part of the hunting community, and I think it's something I support because I think it's, like I said, hunting's hunting, man. You can't tear down one another and how you do it. So there's clients out there that want to go and shoot a trophy stag and fill their freezer. And that's literally a way of doing it. It's no different to go and buy your beef from the supermarket, mate, but except you get a trophy at the end of it.
That's it.
So I've only done it like once myself, and I really enjoyed it. Like in Australia with the red deer, I really enjoyed it. It's not something I would do all the time, but it's definitely something I'll do again down in the future. But so I do that. I do rusa high fence hunts for a landowner up north near my farm near Bundaberg, and then I do red deer and down in southeast Queensland as well. So I promote that mainly just through my social media page, and like all the hunters, it's more of it's a financial privilege, I suppose, is high fence hunting. So if you're in a financial point of view where you can do it, then you can enjoy it. But I think the people that get upset are the ones that can't afford it.
Yep.
Which is not ragging on them in the slightest, man, but it's just literally what I found is the ones that hunters that don't like it are just reality is they can't afford it, which is fine, man. Just keep doing what you're doing, have your public land access and do your thing.
That's it.
But it's just when they get pissy about it, it's like, mate, this is like, it's a it's a privilege. Like it's not a necessity. So like if you're in a point of doing it, then go do it. But if you aren't, it's all good.
That's it. So, as long as you're honest about it too. Like you say this was a high fence stag. You know, it's the ones that claim it to be free range that get.
Mate, like I try my best to like always word it. Like I never try. I'll like, and you can quote me. I never word it as a hunt.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's a challenge, yes, but I call it a shoot, like a high fence shoot is how I try to word it. I don't try to advertise as a high fence hunt because to me, and everyone knows it. It's like, dude, you know they're there. You still got to do some work and go find them, but you know they're there. So to me, it kind of takes a different aspect of it's not a hunt, but you're going for a shoot, and you're also going to fill your freezer and get a really cool trophy out of it as well. Which is something I like. If you're financially able to do it, I'd recommend going and trying it at least once in your life.
Yeah, 100%. Like I said, that Barbary sheep, that Aoudad above me, that was high fence in Texas, and as long as people are open about it, it's cool.
Don't try and fucking say it's something else. Like because you do see those dudes that they go shoot and like you can just read through it. Like you're like this, you didn't shoot this in the wild, dude. Like we all know, but don't like try to make it that something that it's not.
I did have a laugh this year, though, that red eye shot up in New South Wales on my mate Cody's blog. The amount of people that accuse me of that being a high fence deer. They're like, I know the property, I know the pen that you shot it in. I'm like, no, you didn't.
I say that just would be more humbling, and like you'd be probably pretty stoked because I shot a fucking good wild deer then.
It made me laugh so hard, like I was smiling the whole time. I'm like, jealousy is such a bitch in this community.
Oh, dude, it can get catty, and that's why, like I said before, I was like in the hunting community, man, like look, I don't necessarily agree with some forms of hunting, but I don't think we should have the right to tear one another down in the hunting community when we're already such a fragile community in Australia.
That's it.
If you don't agree with it, just move on, but support your fellow hunter.
That's it.
Like you see, like the hound hunters that cop shit and stuff like that down south, and it's like, man, it's no different to a pig hunter with their dogs. It's like we're all hunters, and as soon as you tear down that one pillar, the next one's going after it. Same as bows going in South Australia, mate.
Yeah, man. Trust me, I know. I've got a wall full of bows behind me that I can't use.
Yeah, I can see. I was like, fuck, they'll be collecting some dust now, mate. It's just, and it's because of the 5%. Some little dickhead shot a seal or something, didn't he? Or
there's been a couple instances. People shooting house cats with field tips, and people shooting seals and kangaroos, and I seen up your way someone shot a bush turkey with one, and it's just idiots, man.
It's like we need to account for the slowest part of society, and it's like, man, that's not how it should work.
Yeah, that's it.
I definitely think like even with like bow hunting, like I'm not a bow hunter, mate, so I might upset some people, but it's like the same thing. It's like, don't make it illegal. Maybe make some sort of educational course on it. Not a license, but like something just to know that it's like, look, you gotta be responsible. It's still a fucking weapon.
Yeah, it's a hard one, and that's what was discussed here, and we tried pushing for it, but it's just when these greenie parties get into power and they're getting money backhanded through RSPCA and shit like that.
Oh, dude, you'd spend a couple of hours talking about it, eh? Like it's just one of those.
I've spent hours.
Yeah, I was just saying, you out of all people, it's you think, but it's just crazy, man. Like, but yes, you got to support your fellow hunter no matter what style of hunting they're doing. You got to back them, man.
100%.
Obviously, ethical and like not poaching, like old mate they got done for the hog deer just recently.
Oh yeah, don't. I don't even want to say his name because I
know his name, mate. He doesn't deserve his name said on here, mate.
I think he's just got an ego thing where he loves seeing his name, and I see it when the guy up in Queensland posts about him too. He just grabs all these screenshots of everyone talking about him and posts it, and everyone loves it, and you just watch their ego grow.
He, like, one of the guys I buy, like, fellow deer off in New South Wales, he just had one of his stacks last year, like, poached by him, and he got charged in court for it and stuff, and nothing changes, mate. He's still doing what he's doing, but, like, I think you've nailed on the head with what you're saying. I think he just enjoys it.
Yeah, that's what I told the farmer that was Corey that was posting all the stuff up. I'm just like, just like I understand why you're sharing it, but just understand that his ego grows the more that you share it, and he sees his name and his actions.
Yeah, no, that's what I said. I was like, he doesn't need to be named even on here. Like, he doesn't deserve to be named on here. Like, oh yeah, you see it happen all the time. Like that's the side of the hunting where I won't support that shit.
Nah, that's it.
No, but like it's no different to someone coming into my place and shooting my deer that I've put hard work into.
Yeah, well, there's a farm here in the Adelaide Hills about 6-7 years ago, maybe a little bit longer. There was a big fallow buck shot, and it wouldn't surprise me if it was this person as well. Like it.
Oh, I think he's done a little bit of countrywide traveling.
He's from South Australia. He's down from near where you did that red stag hunt.
Yeah, mate. Well, that's how I first met him. Like I had some. I found out about him, mate, and then because he had poached that property I was on, and I ended up having words with this bloke.
Fuck it.
And like it's just like it's been bittersweet watching it unfold, and finally nice to see charges laid, but I don't see it stopping him.
Nah, us fucking idiot posted up, and he's like, "Oh, who wants hog deer hunts? I need to pay."
I saw that, man. Like one of my friends sent me that. I was like, mate, he's fucking trolling so hard.
Yeah, karma's going to catch up to him in the form, at a few thousand feet per second one day.
Yes, mate. Yeah, you're going to be on the wrong side of the fence, and I agree 100%. You can only hope.
I do not condone violence, people.
No, yeah, make the note clear. Yeah, don't condone that. But he's a fucking coal stag.
Well, I reckon that's a great note to end on. Thank you very much for coming on, Jack. I know it was your first podcast, and I think you smashed it out of the park, mate.
I appreciate you for having me, man. Hey, it was cool experience, man. So
awesome.
Hopefully we'll do something down the track again.
Yeah, 100%. And if you're ever in South Australia again, sing out and we'll catch up and we'll go out for dinner. When people passing through, I get a bunch of the hunter boys here together and we go out and have a schnitzel and a few beers, and it's always a good way to connect more people to the community. So.
Yeah, sounds good, man. It'll be great. I'll definitely be down there again anyway, so we'll link up.
Beautiful. Sounds good. Thanks, Jack. Catch you later.
Cheers, mate. Bye.
Thank you for joining us on another episode of Hunting Connection Podcast. We hope you've enjoyed our discussions and gained valuable insights into the world of hunting, fishing, and the outdoors. To stay connected with us and never miss out on an update, please be sure to follow us on social media, all at Hunting Connection Podcast. We appreciate your support and would love for you to share the podcast with your friends and family. Don't forget to tag us in your hunting photos on social media and let us know about your experiences. Your feedback is invaluable to us, so please take a moment to subscribe, rate, and review the podcast. Together, we continue growing and delivering more captivating episodes for all hunting enthusiasts. Stay connected, stay informed, and keep pursuing your passion for the hunt. Until next time, happy hunting.